So next up, you kind of hit on it, Mike. The first couple things we wanted to talk about, one being water, the second being public safety. So that is what we hear, right? So what are your plans to address that? Talk about police funding. I know there are a couple items coming up, right? They were due to be discussed at the council meeting that we may or may not speak of here in a little bit, right? So let's if you could go ahead and talk to us about your plans, your thoughts on police funding, public safety, and similar topics. If we can go for this one, we'll just rotate a little bit.
Sure, no problem.
Kim, then Jim, then Mike.
Okay. Well, public safety is a big thing, and I really feel we have a great police department. Dar Kirk is a great police chief, and the cameras that he was talking about at our last meeting is going to be a really good idea, especially with recording and being able to give that back to the public if they need to see it. We have been hiring police officers at some point. I think we have 2 more coming on at the end of this month in October coming up. And the new SWAT that was another thing that was on our agenda to discuss, but everything's looking really good, I think. Jim, how do you feel?
Well, about 50% of our total annual budget goes to security and protection, civilian, our citizens' protection. So Kelso obviously has made a really incredible commitment to our police force, to give them the tools that they need. The thing I like about Dar is he is looking into lateral transfers. That's hiring a police officer that has been through the academy. He's an accredited police officer. He'll come in with his background fully disclosed to the chief. I like that because when you hire laterally, you save all those costs associated with sending someone to the academy, Kim. And so I like that a whole lot. Okay. You pointed out something incredibly valuable in terms of the body cams. What the Blake decision has done in enforcement is so confusing, and I'm afraid it jeopardizes some of our police officers' actions. The cameras are incredibly necessary to make sure those officers in any circumstances will have a fair hearing and the evidence will be there about their behavior and things. So the Blake decision is a travesty, no question about it. Lateral hiring from officers who are fully trained, whose training can be added to as necessary, if that's the case. But it saves the city so much money. And let's face it, we're going to lose at least 3 officers shortly, either retirement or just because they want to pursue other career activities and opportunities. So we've got to keep the force where it's at. We've got to have those 25 plus patrol officers, sergeants, captains on the force, and we need good people. The citizens of Kelso are totally supportive of their police department, and there's no question about that. So Dar has done a remarkable job, guys. But again, the emphasis on about half our spendable budget annually is for our police department, and I think we've got a great return on that investment.
Hey, Mike.
All right.
So yeah, I fully support the funding of the police. as both Jim and Kim have said, they do a great job, really a valuable resource, not only from the law enforcement, but they do shop with an officer. They run the National Out Night, and just do a lot of things that you consider more community policing. I was at a pie social in South Kelso, and Dar was there talking to citizens. Dar gets out, talks to the citizens. He's got a good feel. His officers do the same thing. The cameras are going to be great. That's going to benefit the police in a lot of the cases where somebody may claim something happened, and the cameras will show what really happened. So that does require another records officer too, or at least we were putting a half-time job to a full-time job, but it's all worth it. Cameras are important. SWAT team, SWAT activities, that's just another good example of one of the things we do well in Cowlitz County, and especially where we can between Longview and Kelso is, cooperate on those kind of activities. Vacancies are tough because we're on the lower end of payment, and we've had people transfer from our police department to a larger department to get more money, and we've done the same thing. We'll pick up somebody from a smaller department. The one thing we did at the last council meeting is we essentially approved a hiring bonus. Dar's working on the details of that, but right now we have a $10,000 hiring bonus. And as Jim says, that helps us with lateral transfers. The one thing that I really like to focus on too with the police is the mental health issues and stuff the police face. I've had the opportunity to ride with both the police department and the sheriff's department, and almost 50% of their calls involve mental health. And so in cooperation with Longview, they've hired 4 mental health professionals to be embedded in the police departments, Longview and Kelso. I supported Chief Kirk when he went to the county commissioners to get some additional funds from the county commissioners from the mental health tax that the county raises. And so we're looking at 4 more mental health professionals. So there'll be 8 professionals embedded in police forces throughout Cowlitz County, a director of the mental health professionals. So that's going to be a big help to the police and defuse some of the things they run into. And also when they make a joint response, the mental health people can, if it's a mental health emergency, they can take over, get the people the help they need. So that's the other part of the police activity and personal safety that I think is really great that Chief Huda and Chief Kirk have taken on, and appears like they will be successful ultimately to get 8 mental health professionals.